The final warning. The great hall of the Galactic Council echoed with tense silence as Ambassador Korath of the Vegan Empire stood before the assembled delegates. His scaled hands trembled as he held the data pad containing humanity's latest activities. Council, members, Korath began, his voice carrying across the chamber. We can no longer ignore what the humans are doing. Their expansion has exceeded all projections. The holographic display showed a map of human space. Red dots marked their colonies, spreading like wildfire across previously empty sectors. In just 50 years, humanity had claimed over 200 systems. Elder Voss, the ancient leader of the Centauri Federation, leaned forward in his floating chair. We have discussed this before, Korath. The humans stay within their designated zones. That was true 6 months ago, Korath replied, his voice rising. But look at these new readings. The display shifted, showing massive energy signatures near the edge of human space. They are building something big. Captain Rex of the human delegation sat quietly in the observer section. His weathered face showed no emotion as the aliens debated his species' fate. He had been expecting this moment for months. The Aquarian representative, a being of pure energy contained in a crystal shell, pulsed with concern. What kind of construction requires such power output? Our scientists believe they are building ships, Korath answered. Not just any ships. Vessels capable of traveling beyond our galaxy. A wave of shocked murmurs swept through the chamber. Interstellar travel was common, but intergalactic voyages were considered impossible by most species. Elder Voss's ancient eyes narrowed. Humans have always been ambitious, but this seems beyond their capabilities. Captain Rex finally spoke, his voice calm and steady. You underestimated us before. Remember Mars? The room fell silent. Everyone knew the story. When the Council had tried to limit human expansion to their home system, humanity had terraformed Mars in record time, proving their determination to spread among the stars. This is different, Korath insisted. If they leave our galaxy, they could establish colonies beyond our reach, beyond our control. The reptilian delegate from Draco, Prime, hissed his agreement. The humans reproduce too quickly, they adapt too fast. If we do not act now, they will become unstoppable. Elder Voss considered this carefully. The Council had been formed to maintain peace and order among the galaxy's civilized species. Humanity's rapid growth had always been a concern, but they had followed most galactic laws. What action do you propose? Voss asked. Korath's eyes gleamed with determination. A containment field around all human systems. We have the technology. It would prevent any ship from leaving their space. That would be an act of war, Captain Rex said quietly. No, Korath replied. It would be an act of preservation, for the good of the galaxy. The debate continued for hours. Some delegates supported the containment plan, while others argued for diplomacy. The younger species, who had joined the Council more recently, seemed sympathetic to humanity's desire to explore. But the older races, those who had dominated the galaxy for millennia, saw humanity as a threat to their established order. As the session drew to a close, Elder Voss called for a preliminary vote. All those in favor of beginning preparations for human containment? Hands, claws, and energy forms rose across the chamber. The count was close, but the containment supporters had a slight majority. Captain Rex stood slowly, his military bearing evident despite his age. I hope you understand what you're considering. Humanity has never responded well to cages. Your species will adapt, Korath said dismissively. You always do. Rex smiled grimly. Yes, we do. But not always in ways you expect. As the delegates filed out of the chamber, discussing details of the containment plan, Captain Rex activated a small device hidden in his uniform. A brief, coded signal was transmitted across space, reaching human colonies in distant systems. The message was simple. Council votes for containment. Execute Protocol 7. Elder Voss noticed Rex's movement but said nothing. He had lived for over 3 centuries and had seen many species rise and fall. Humanity was clever, but they were still young. The Council's combined technological might would be more than enough to keep them contained. What Voss didn't know was that human engineers had been working on their secret project for over a decade. The energy signatures the Council detected were not from ship construction. They were from the final test of humanity's greatest achievement, instantaneous matter transmission across galactic distances. The ships were already built, hidden in deep space. The massive energy readings were from the portals that would transport them beyond the galaxy's edge. As Captain Rex left the Council chamber, he looked back one last time at the assembled aliens. They thought they still had time to stop humanity's expansion. They were wrong. The Discovery. 3 days after the Council session, Commander Lisa Park stood in the observation deck of the research station New Horizon, watching the final preparations unfold in the void beyond. Massive portal rings, each one the size of a small moon, hung silently in space. "Status report," she commanded, her voice cutting through the busy chatter of the control room. Dr. Ben Cole, the project's lead scientist, looked up from his console. His usually calm demeanor showed cracks of excitement and fear. "Portal network is at 98% operational capacity. We're detecting some unusual readings from the quantum field generators." "Unusual how?" Lisa asked, moving closer to examine the data streams flowing across multiple screens. "The energy output is exceeding our models by 15%, Ben explained. "It's as if the portals are drawing power from somewhere else, not just our reactors." Lisa frowned. The portal project had consumed resources from dozens of human colonies. If something went wrong now, humanity would lose its chance to escape the Council's growing hostility. Across the galaxy, similar conversations were taking place on other human installations. The project, known only to a select few as Gateway, represented humanity's most ambitious undertaking. While the Council debated containment, humans had been secretly building a network of portals capable of transporting entire fleets beyond the galaxy's edge. On Earth, President Maria Santos received an encrypted communication from Captain Rex. The message was brief, but clear. The Council was moving faster than expected. "How long do we have?" she asked General Tom Hayes, who had overseen the military aspects of Gateway. "Our intelligence suggests the Council will begin deploying containment fields within 2 weeks," Hayes replied. "They're moving resources from across the galaxy." Santos nodded grimly. "Then we accelerate the timeline. Send the order to all colonies. Begin evacuation procedures immediately." The decision had been made years ago, during humanity's first major conflict with the Council over mining rights in the Kepler sector. Human leaders realized that their species would never be truly free while under alien oversight. Gateway was their answer, a way to leave the galaxy entirely and establish civilization beyond any alien influence. Back at New Horizon, Dr. Cole made a breakthrough. "Commander, I think I understand the excess energy readings. The portals aren't just opening doorways through space. They're tapping into dark energy flows between galaxies." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. "Is that safe?" "Unknown," Ben admitted. "But it means our range is potentially unlimited. We could reach other galaxies far beyond what we originally planned." The implications were staggering. Humanity wouldn't just escape Council control. They could spread across multiple galaxies, becoming a truly intergalactic species. Meanwhile, on the Vegan homeworld, Ambassador Korath was growing suspicious. Human communications had increased dramatically in recent days, but their content was heavily encrypted. "Something is wrong," he told his aide, a younger Vegan named Rix. "The humans are too quiet. When have they ever accepted restrictions without arguing?" Rix consulted his datapad. "Our scouts report increased activity around several human industrial systems, but nothing that violates current agreements." "What kind of activity?" "Mass cargo movements mostly. They claim it's a trade optimization program." Korath's scales rippled with unease. He had studied humans for decades and knew they were masters of deception when cornered. "Double our surveillance efforts. I want to know what every human ship is doing." But it was already too late for effective surveillance. Human engineers had spent years developing new stealth technology specifically to avoid alien detection. The massive portal components had been transported using ships that barely registered on most sensors. On the colony world of Haven, families were already boarding transport vessels under the cover of routine evacuation drills. Children played games while their parents packed decades of human civilization into cargo containers. Mary Thompson held her young son Jake's hand as they walked toward the transport ship Freedom. "Are we really leaving forever, Mom?" Jake asked. Mary looked back at the settlement where Jake had been born, where humans had built their first truly independent colony. "We're going somewhere new, honey. Somewhere we can be free." The transport ships were designed to carry entire populations through the portals. Each vessel could hold thousands of people and enough supplies to establish new colonies in distant galaxies. Commander Park received confirmation from colonies across human space. The evacuation was proceeding ahead of schedule. Humanity's exodus would begin in 72 hours. "Dr. Cole," she called, "are the portals ready for full activation?" Ben looked up from his calculations, his face pale but determined. "As ready as they'll ever be, Commander. Once we activate the network, there's no going back." Lisa nodded. "Then prepare for the greatest journey in human history. The escape begins." The Exodus Command, humanity's largest starship, emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. Captain Mike Chen stood on the bridge, watching Earth grow larger on the main screen. It would be the last time anyone would see humanity's birth world from space. "Sir, we're receiving final evacuee counts from the surface," reported Lieutenant Anna Davis. 96% of volunteers are aboard transport vessels. The remaining 4% are choosing to stay." Mike nodded solemnly. Not every human wanted to leave. Some believed they could coexist with the Council, while others simply couldn't abandon the world where humanity had evolved. "Their choice to make," Mike said quietly. "What's the status of the portal network?" "All stations report ready," Anna replied. "Dr. Cole confirms the quantum fields are stable across all jump points. Across human space, the largest migration in galactic history was underway. Thousands of ships carrying millions of people moved toward designated portal coordinates. The sight would have been magnificent if anyone had been watching from the outside. But the Council remained unaware. Their surveillance systems, designed to monitor normal space traffic, couldn't detect the sophisticated stealth technology humanity had developed in secret. On the Council homeworld of Centralis, Elder Voss was reviewing reports from various member species. The Aquarians had detected unusual energy fluctuations in several sectors, but nothing that seemed immediately threatening. "Perhaps we are being too cautious about the humans," suggested Council Member Tarn of the Rigel Collective. "They have been remarkably quiet since our last session." Voss's ancient intuition warned him otherwise. Quiet humans are dangerous humans. Increase monitoring of all their systems. But it was already too late. As Voss spoke, the first wave of human ships was approaching Portal Station Alpha, hidden in the dark space between star systems. Commander Park watched from New Horizon as the massive portal rings began to glow with ethereal blue energy. The quantum field generators hummed with power drawn from dark energy streams that flowed between galaxies. "Portal 1 is active," Dr. Cole announced. "Destination, Andromeda Galaxy, Sector 7 Alpha." The first ships to enter were scouts, small, fast vessels tasked with confirming that the portal destinations were safe and suitable for human settlement. Captain Sarah Way piloted the lead scout ship Pioneer toward the swirling energy field. "Control, this is Pioneer. Beginning portal transit. In 10 seconds. Copy, Pioneer, you are go for transit." Sarah's ship touched the portal's edge and simply vanished, appearing instantly in a distant galaxy over 2 million light-years away. For a moment, there was only silence from the other side. Then Sarah's voice crackled through the quantum communication. "Link, Control, Pioneer reporting successful transit. The destination is clear. Beginning system survey now." Cheers erupted across the human fleet. The portals worked. Within hours, a steady stream of transport ships was flowing through multiple portals. Each one carried thousands of humans to new homes in distant galaxies far beyond the reach of any Council containment field. Back on Earth, President Santos stood in the Oval Office, looking out at the lights of Washington, D.C. In a few hours, she would board the final government transport, taking with her the records and treasures of human civilization. "Ma'am," her aide entered quietly. "The council is beginning to notice something. They're requesting immediate communication with our ambassador." Santos smiled grimly. "Tell them Ambassador Johnson is unavailable, permanently. In fact, Captain Rex and the entire human diplomatic mission had already departed through Portal Station Beta, heading for the Magellanic Clouds where humanity would establish its new government in exile." The first sign something was wrong came when Council surveillance detected empty space where human colonies should have been. The Vegan scout ship Seeker arrived at the human settlement on Kepler 442b to find abandoned buildings and silent communication arrays. "There's no one here," reported the Seeker's captain to Ambassador Korath. "The entire colony is empty, but there are no signs of struggle or disaster." Korath felt his blood run cold. "Check the other human worlds, all of them." The reports came back within hours. Every human colony was abandoned. Billions of people had simply vanished without a trace. Elder Voss received the news while preparing for sleep in his chambers. The ancient being had lived through many crises, but nothing quite like this. "How does an entire species disappear?" he asked his aide. "Unknown, Elder. But our deep space sensors are detecting massive energy readings from previously empty sectors. Whatever the humans were building, they've activated it." Voss closed his eyes, finally understanding the scope of humanity's deception. They hadn't been preparing to resist containment, they had been preparing to leave entirely. "Sound the Galactic alert," he ordered. "Find them. Stop them." But as Council ships scrambled to respond, the last human transport was already disappearing through Portal Station Omega. Commander Park watched from the observation deck as Earth's sun became just another star among billions. "Goodbye, old home," she whispered. "Hello, Infinity." The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened within 6 hours of discovering humanity's disappearance. The great chamber buzzed with angry voices as representatives from dozens of species demanded answers. Elder Voss floated at the center of the chaos, his ancient face etched with concern and frustration. Never in his 3 centuries of life had an entire species simply vanished from the galaxy. "Order," he called, his voice amplified across the chamber. "We must approach this methodically." Ambassador Korath stood, his scales flushed with rage. "Methodically? The humans have made fools of us all. While we debated containment, they were planning the greatest escape in galactic history." The reptilian delegate from Draco Prime hissed his agreement. "They must be found and brought back. No species can be allowed to simply leave Council authority." "But how?" asked the Aquarian representative, her energy form pulsing with confusion. "Our best scientists say interstellar travel beyond the galactic edge is impossible with known technology." Dr. Keth, the Council's chief science advisor, activated a holographic display showing energy readings from across human space. The humans appear to have developed some form of instantaneous transportation system. These energy signatures suggest portal technology far advanced beyond anything in our database. The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs. Portal technology existed, but nothing capable of the range and scale the readings suggested. "How long have they been planning this?" Elder Voss asked. "Based on the infrastructure we've detected, at least 10 years, Dr. Keth replied. "Possibly longer. They hid the construction in deep space, using stealth technology we're only now beginning to understand." Captain Zorn of the Centauri fleet. Command stepped forward. "My ships are already tracking the energy trails. We can follow them." "To where?" Korath demanded. "If they've truly left the galaxy, our fastest ships would take thousands of years to reach them." But Zorn had been studying human psychology for decades. "They're still human. They'll want to maintain some connection to their origins. I believe they've established waypoints, hidden stations that can bridge the gap between galaxies." It was a logical assumption, but wrong. Humanity's planners had been more thorough than the Council imagined. In the Andromeda Galaxy, the human colony, Ship New Earth was already establishing humanity's first extragalactic settlement. The world they had chosen was remarkably similar to Earth. blue oceans, breathable atmosphere, and no signs of intelligent life. Governor Lisa Martinez stood on the observation deck of the colony's command center, watching as automated systems began constructing the first permanent structures. Behind her, holographic displays showed similar scenes from dozens of other worlds across multiple galaxies. "Status report from all colonies," she requested. Her aide, Dr. James Park, consulted his datapad. 17 colony sites established and operational. 3 more under construction. Population transfer is proceeding smoothly across all locations. Any signs of pursuit? None. The portal network is completely concealed from this end. Even if the Council develops similar technology, they won't know where to look. But back in the Milky Way, the Council was developing countermeasures faster than humanity had anticipated. Dr. Keth had assembled a team of the galaxy's best scientists to analyze the portal technology. "The energy patterns suggest they're using dark energy flows as conduits," he explained to the emergency committee. "If we can map these flows, we might be able to predict their destinations." Elder Voss leaned forward in his floating chair. "How long would that take?" "Months, possibly years. Dark energy is still poorly understood by most of our species." "Unacceptable," Korath interjected. "By then, they could have established colonies across multiple galaxies." The truth was even worse than Korath imagined. Humanity wasn't just establishing colonies. They were building new portal networks, creating a web of connected civilizations that spanned intergalactic distances. On a world in the small Magellanic Cloud, human engineers were constructing Portal Station Prime, designed to serve as the hub for humanity's growing empire. The station would eventually connect over 100 human worlds across 5 different galaxies. Captain Rex, now serving as humanity's ambassador at large, stood in the station's command center reviewing reports from across human space. The Exodus had been even more successful than their most optimistic projections. "Any word from our people who stayed behind?" he asked. "Limited contact," replied Communications Officer Beth Stone. "They report increased Council surveillance, but no direct action yet. The Council seems focused on finding us rather than punishing those who remained." Rex nodded. The handful of humans who had chosen to stay in Milky Way would serve as humanity's eyes and ears, monitoring Council activities while maintaining plausible deniability about the Exodus. Meanwhile, the Council's search efforts were expanding. Fleet Admiral Vex of the combined Council forces had deployed ships to every sector where human activity had been detected. "Search pattern Omega is complete," he reported to Elder Voss. "No trace of human ships or technology. It's as if they simply ceased to exist." Voss stared at the tactical display showing empty space where human colonies once thrived. "They didn't cease to exist, Admiral. They evolved beyond our reach." The realization was slowly dawning on the Council leadership. Humanity had achieved something that fundamentally changed the balance of power in the galaxy. They were no longer a contained species to be managed, but a true intergalactic civilization. "What are your orders, Elder?" Admiral Vex asked. Voss was quiet for a long moment, then spoke with the weight of his centuries. "Continue the search, but begin preparations for the possibility that we may never find them." The New Dawn. 6 months after humanity's exodus, the Galactic Council had finally accepted the truth. They were gone. The search fleets had returned empty-handed, having found nothing but abandoned installations and fading energy signatures. Elder Voss sat alone in his private chambers, reading reports from across the galaxy. Human departure had created unexpected consequences. Trade routes that had depended on human intermediaries were disrupted. Technological development in several sectors had slowed without human innovation. Even the galaxy's cultural landscape felt different without humanity's unique perspective. "They were more integrated into our civilization than we realized," he murmured to himself. A soft chime indicated an incoming priority message. Voss activated his communication array, expecting another routine report from the search teams. Instead, Captain Rex appeared on the holographic display. "Hello, Elder Voss, I trust you've been well." Voss nearly fell from his floating chair. Rex, where are you? How are you transmitting this? Rex smiled, looking relaxed and confident in a way Voss had never seen before. Behind him, through a large viewport, unfamiliar stars twinkled in alien constellations. I'm calling from New Geneva, the capital of the Human Intergalactic Federation. As for how, Rex gestured to something off-screen. Let's just say our technology has advanced considerably since we left. You must return, Voss said, trying to project authority despite his shock. The Council has jurisdiction over all sapient species in this galaxy. Had jurisdiction, Rex corrected gently. We're no longer in your galaxy, Elder. We're citizens of a much larger universe now. The transmission quality was perfect, clearer than most communication within the galaxy. Whatever technology humanity was using, it was far beyond anything the Council possessed. What do you want, Rex? Voss asked, though he suspected he already knew. To make you an offer. Humanity bears no ill will toward the Council or its member species. We understand your concerns about our expansion were genuine, even if we disagreed with your methods. Rex paused, his expression becoming more serious. We're prepared to share some of our new discoveries with the Council. Clean energy technology that could revolutionize your civilizations, medical advances that could extend lifespans by centuries, even limited portal technology for intragalactic travel. Voss felt a mix of hope and suspicion. In exchange for what? Nothing, Rex replied, surprising the Elder. Consider it a farewell gift from one sapient species to another. Humanity learned much during our time in the Milky Way. We're grateful for that education. The offer was unprecedented. In thousands of years of galactic politics, no species had ever simply given away advanced technology without demanding something in return. There must be conditions, Voss insisted. Just one, Rex acknowledged. The Council must formally recognize humanity's right to exist independently, beyond your authority. We want no future conflicts or attempts to reclaim us. It was a reasonable request, Voss realized. Humanity had proven they could disappear entirely if threatened. Better to maintain friendly relations than risk losing access to their technological advances. I'll need to consult with the full Council, Voss said. Of course, we'll give you time to consider. Rex's image began to fade. Oh, and Elder? Tell Ambassador Korath that the universe is far larger and more wonderful than any of us imagined. There's room for everyone to thrive. The transmission ended, leaving Voss alone with his thoughts. Across multiple galaxies, humanity was indeed thriving. The Andromeda colonies had grown into bustling cities. The settlements in the Magellanic Clouds were conducting groundbreaking scientific research. Even the long-range colonies in distant galaxies were sending back reports of amazing discoveries. On New Geneva, President Santos stood before the newly constructed Human Intergalactic Assembly, addressing representatives from over 200 worlds. 6 months ago, we were a single species confined to one galaxy, she began. Today, we are a civilization that spans the cosmos. But our greatest achievement isn't the distance we've traveled. It's that we've maintained who we are as human beings. The assembly chambers erupted in applause. Humans had not just survived their exodus, they had flourished beyond their wildest dreams. Dr. Cole, now leading humanity's Advanced Research Division, had made breakthroughs that would have taken centuries under Council oversight. Free from alien restrictions, human creativity and innovation had exploded into realms of possibility previously unimaginable. We're detecting signals from the Triangulum Galaxy, reported his assistant Dr. Sarah Kim. Not from our colonies. These appear to be from another sapient species. Cole smiled. Humanity's expansion had brought them into contact with civilizations the Council had never encountered, opening up possibilities for trade, diplomacy, and scientific exchange on an intergalactic scale. Back in the Milky Way, the Council voted unanimously to accept humanity's offer. The technology transfers began immediately, ushering in a new golden age for galactic civilization. Elder Voss received one final message from Captain Rex. Thank you for helping us understand what we truly were. The galaxy is in good hands. Humanity had evolved beyond containment, beyond control, beyond the very concept of limitation itself. They had become something new, a truly intergalactic species, free to explore the infinite possibilities of the universe. The Council had tried to cage them, but instead had taught them to fly among the stars.